Hey guys, we're back with the Roundnose again. We figured since it was Antiques Day and it was warm enough to give this one another try. Last time I filmed this, it was well below freezing up here, and I figured that could have affected performance. It definitely affected my performance. That's what she said. So, we got the amp meter, and we're going to play with some controls, and it'll be fun. So, you want to go ahead and put it on low, or you want me to do it?
I will do it.
Okay. High, medium, low. 1.76, but it's going to drop, I think, as it gets up to speed. I wish this wasn't in the roughest shape of all of my antiques, because in many ways it's my favorite. I just like the style of these. You got a favorite yet, Andy?
I'd have to agree with you on this one.
I mean, it's really hard when you factor in the sidewinders, and if I had all the pieces to make that Hunter complete, the one with the adapter equivalent, I don't remember what it's called prior to being called adapter.
Yeah, I haven't seen those.
You were there for the filming of the sidewinders and of the Hunter.
The sidewinders, yes. Hunter, no.
Yes, you were. Hey, you sure you weren't?
I don't recall being around for filming any of your antique Hunters.
I swear you were there. Maybe not. Well, we can always do that sometime. We can bring it out here.
My evil twin, perhaps.
Yeah, I thought you were the evil twin. So, you want to put it on medium?
Okay.
I think Andy is one and Andre is the other one. I just can't figure out which is the evil one.
I don't think I have either.
I know my wife was quite confused. She said, "Who's Andre?" That's Andy. So he doesn't seem like an Andre. So I guess whatever one she's met is the Andy and the Andre. So has she met the good twin or the evil twin? This is going on way longer than it really should have.
Let's move on.
Yeah. 1.73. Ironically, my wife is actually a twin, as is my dad. My wife is the evil twin. I think she would tell you that with no hesitation. Okay, we ready for high?
Alright.
That could be my imagination, but I definitely think it's stronger now than it was in the bitter cold. I think it was. Also, I ran WD-40 through it, which I hadn't done before, because I wanted to check with some Roundnose experts and make sure that there wasn't any reason not to put WD-40 in it. I've talked in some of my videos about how some of the original experts will tell you not to run WD-40 through originals. I was told to do it years ago, before WD-40 was my partner in crime. And so I've always done it.
Well, I think the thing is that people mistake WD-40 as a replacement for oil and not as sort of a supplement.
That's true too, but the reason why I was told later on in life not to run WD-40 through originals is because it causes the rubber seals to swell up. So I've never had a problem with that. I've run it through originals for years and never had a problem, but I didn't want to risk it testing a Roundnose for the first time. Now I'm going to go back here to my testing zone. High tech. Yeah, that's pretty strong back here. It's about, I think it's, I can't tell any difference in performance between it and the Longnose. If there is one, I can't tell, which is stronger than most, if not all, American-made, stack motor type fans, but still not as much air movement as a really good industrial, like a Goldline or a Cast Dayton Leading Edge or something like that. You feel free to see for yourself. We're doing like a choreographed camera ballet. Yeah.
Is this about where you're going? No, really.
Yeah, I usually go to right about somewhere in the middle of that big rack of pedals, and there's a Bogan amplifier there, and I usually make sure I'm behind the Vornado, especially if the Vornado is on, which I turned it off in this case, but sometimes I don't. Yeah. Yeah. I turned those off too just to make sure I was getting a clean test, but I'll leave this one off here just in the event that the blender fan test is not a crock, which I'm starting to think it's a crock. So you ready for me to spin it down? Medium low off. I'm going to turn the far blender fan back on. Pretty fast spin down time, although it's like the long nose that the initial deceleration is greater than.
Yeah, they definitely. I think looks like the same blade pitch and surface area. So
yeah.
Kind of a lot of air resistance. It's also heavy cast iron rotor and heavy real wood blades. So
Real wood blades.
It kind of has factors for and against this coasting.
Real wood blades are actually lighter than MDF and plywood and all of that.
Would not have expected
that. Well, I take that back. Real wood and plywood, I don't know the difference. I don't know with solid versus ply. Actually, come to think of it, I think solid is probably going to be the lightest, because you think about it, the glue is heavy. And with plywood, there's layers of glue between layers of wood. I don't know. The one thing I do know is that MDF is heavier. I know, you're so hopeful.
Split second there. Well, that's just my imagination.
Yep. Running away with you.
Yes.
Okay. What'd you say?
Smokey Robinson, right?
Temptations.
Forgetting my Motown trivia.
I know.
Brush up on that.
How dare you? So we got another custom-made control here. If you've seen the recent long nose video, all I did was wire a 10 microfarad capacitor in parallel with the control. And right now the control's on high, so the capacitor is shorted. It's not doing anything. But this is the 8, 12, 20 control, so add 10 to all of that, and you get 18, 22, 30. So we're going to turn it to low, which will now be 18, which should be a good starting speed for this. Wish I had brought a water up here. I brought the coffee up here and then I drank all the coffee. As is something that often happens to coffee. About as good of a low speed as you could expect from that, I'd think. Okay, let's turn it to speed 3, medium low, which now is going to be 8, 12, 22. Oh, did I do current draw? I don't know if I did current draw for the lowest one, the 18, 1.04, 22, 1.33. Okay, medium high, which would be 30, right? 20, wait, yeah, 20 plus 10 is 30. Math is hard. Which takes us to, so this is not a bad range of speeds for this, actually. Because that takes us to right around a good medium high, I think. And then for reference sake, here's high. Now if I turn
Still not enough. I'm really surprised. I think no other fan. It was just a fluke with the Islander and its weird blade shape that did that.
I've been trying to rack my brain to see was there any other fan that did. I can't think of any, but I'd have to go back and look at all the videos.
One that nudged it for part of a turn.
I feel like that's true.
But
Here, I'm trying to reach my... Even though I did the other controls in the previous video, just in case the performance is different with it being warmer and having had some cleansing WD-40 run through the bearings. So next up, we'll do the Evergo 5-speed, which was surprisingly good with the long nose. Of course, it's only rated for less than an amp, so who knows how long it would last if one were to wire it in place permanently. But, this is low. Is it low? Yep. Okay, so maybe not so much with the round nose. It's not starting on low. It's drawing 0.57 amps and not doing anything. Interesting. The long nose is performing, the round nose is performing very different than the long nose. Okay. Yeah, it was a great range of speeds across the board with the long nose. That's speed 3, drawing 1.09. Speed 2, drawing 1.32. And high, for reference. Okay, well, I was expecting better from that, and it disappointed me. Well, last up, let's do the infinitely variable solid-state control. I wonder when they started offering these infinitely variable solid-state controls. I wonder when you could buy that to control a fan. You obviously could by the 70s, but before that, I don't know when. I'll have to look that up. Maybe there's a...
Let's see what our starting draw is.
It's going to be around an amp, I can almost assuredly... Oops. That was 0.9. I'm going to back it off to 0.8. It hadn't started in the 70s and then it jumped. So let's okay, well that's 0.81 and let's go back. Oops, wrong way. Okay, that's 0.7. 0.75. 6, 8. Now we're at 0.81 where it was turning before. 8.7. Now we're all the way to 0.9 where it started before. 9.5. Okay. Yeah, it's amazing to me how permanent split capacitor fan some of these fans that we test, they'll start down to like 0.05 amps, you know, and you'll get it'll be too slow to be useful for anything, but it'll start, you know. Whereas with these shaded pole motors, you can be drawing near an amp and it still isn't spinning. Okay, I'm going to turn it something like a 1/16 of a turn, which takes us to 1.17. I'll do 16ths, another 16th, 1.33. Another 1.73. That's a big jump. Another 2.0. And then all the way to high, which actually, once it gets up to speed, drops down to 1.9. I'm backing it off some. I want to see how having been up to speed influences its ability. I'm going to go down to 0.8. Yeah, this is the kind of fan that if I didn't already have the blender fans up here, this would be a good shop fan. Okay, I'm going to go down to 0.75. .7. In the Roundnose videos, I was talking about fans that appeared in the movie Casablanca. I don't recall any Roundnoses in the movie, but I could be mistaken about that. I'll once again repeat, just in case you're not, whoever's watching doesn't watch all the videos. My assignment to my viewers is to go watch the movie Casablanca and list all the fans, the antique fans that appear in it, and their Casablanca equivalents. So, for example, you would list the fern leaf. Fern leaf shows up in the movie, which I believe it does, and then the Casablanca equivalent, which is a Victorian. We're at 0.7. I'll go to 0.65. So I suppose if you wanted to have one of these installed on a solid state control, you could set the low speed trim pretty low, but you'd have to make sure you started it from high. And I try to avoid doing that, because what if you get a power outage? That's 0.65. Let's try 0.6.
In other words, you get a power outage, the fan stops, the power comes back on, but it's not turning.
Exactly, and then you end up with a stalled out fan. When I'm setting low speeds, regardless of what type of control I'm using, if it's solid state or if I'm picking capacitor values or whatever I'm doing, I always try to think about what happens if the power goes out. This is 0.6. I don't think we're going to get much better than this. In fact, this could stall out. Yeah, I guess 0.65 is the lowest it can go, because it stopped at 0.6. Yeah. But of course, if I inch it back up again, it's going to be around an amp before it actually starts. Yep, right there we're at 0.93.
You know what, for whatever reason, let's keep this in mind, because I'm really liking the lighting for this video. It's really working out well.
What? You think that one additional chain-mounted strip light all the way at the other end is making a difference? Because that's the only thing that's different.
I think it is, actually, because it's brightening up that end, and it's kind of reflecting off the end of the attic.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
And I'm happy with it.
my goal is to get some more of these silver bullet Presco lights and do a whole row of them here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many I could fit,
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want to move the landlord stuff here because he put that there for a reason. You know, everything I've got up here is like, even where I've got stuff piled all around his stuff, I still haven't touched his stuff. It's just exactly where he left it. So, okay. Well, I'm going to go to high, and then we'll let it spin down all the way with the power actually cut, as opposed to oft. Okay. Well, we've seen the Roundnose once again, and probably won't do another video of it unless we find a place to install it. You know, once again, I'm thinking over Andy's bed, but we'll see. So, thanks for watching.